We call him the investigator. Jimmy Leach is in the house with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Steve. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Great.
All right. A lot of things going on in our world.
Yes, it is, bud.
It happens. It happens all the time. Let's start, I guess, in one sense with Miami because it's a highly publicized case, and we had the one video showing the van, 3 guys jumping out of it. Now they've got another video, and there's a possibility there were some others involved in the shooting. So the cases continue to develop. They did find the van, but the van had been stolen for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, the van has been missing since the 15th, I think. The question is, did they have it hid out, or what? And I have to wonder, Steve, if it may go back to a lack of motivation by police officers.
In what way?
With all the things that's been going on,
Okay.
in police were.
What, just the fundamentals, not checking things out?
Well, you got plate readers in a lot of the cars in the metropolitan areas now. They automatically run the license plate in front of you and see if it's stolen. And you got, you see 3 young guys riding around in a high-dollar vehicle like that.
Right.
A lot of times, good police work says, see what's going on in that vehicle. And you
Some
stop.
people would consider that intrusive.
Well, some people might, yeah.
Okay.
I consider shooting, killing 2 people intrusive too.
Okay.
Little things like that make a big difference in law enforcement. And I don't know. I'm thinking out loud, man.
Okay.
One thing I found unusual, and it may not have any significance at all, but they kept referring these to groups, not gangs.
Okay.
And they said somewhere or another they're tying the shooting into some lyrics from rap music.
Okay.
I didn't really understand exactly how they
What the
got
conflict is.
that.
But it was a rap concert,
It
right?
was a rap concert. I think maybe coming out with a new rap song or something.
So it could be a turf war, music business.
It could be.
Okay.
And
We've seen those.
Sure, it's a lot of money.
Yeah,
A lot of money,
yeah,
man.
right.
And evidently they were waiting for some particular something to happen, because they sat there for a while, and then all of a sudden, bang! In 10 seconds, there's 100 shell cases laying on the ground. 20 people or so shot, 2 dead.
Wow.
And the other vehicle,
10 seconds.
there is some thought that might have been just return fire, because they said there was a lot of return fire going on. Everybody had a gun, and I have to notice, everybody had a gun, everybody was shooting, but the 3 guys got completely away. Nobody hit them. It's the real world, man. Real world.
Takes training to do that and be accurate.
It does. And the bad thing about if you're dealing with police officers most of the time, we're taught to look behind the target, see what is in the line of fire and what's behind in case we miss and this and that. Okay. And a lot of people that are out there carrying guns, that thought doesn't come across their mind. They just start shooting.
Don't have to have any training anymore. Don't have to have a permit.
That's why we get
Signed this week.
8-month-old kids,
Yeah.
shot sitting on the porch and stuff like that.
Jimmy Leach investigated with us. It wasn't the only shooting in Miami. Once Miami pulled up, you pulled up now, there were a lot of others.
Yeah, had one Tuesday night. Had one on video. I don't think anybody got killed in that one.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we've had our own tragedy here. A young lady that was reported missing. The missing report came out last Friday, the 28th. Family had not seen her since Thursday, and they reported the next day. And you don't know how to react to those, because we have teenage runaways and all kinds of different things.
Sure.
So it stays out there. And then it turns out this is a horrible incident.
Yes.
Beaten to death, strangled, apparently, and found a car at Cape Campbell Park and closing out on Blue Branch, and then her body on Max Hart Road. And it's just, and you don't want to think that people that group or whatever are here, but they are.
They sure are, Steve. And I'm glad you said that, because it's terribly important that we all understand that those kind of people are around us.
And when you see the footage, city court, demeanor totally different, obviously.
Sure.
Somebody that's allegedly beaten and strangled someone.
To death.
Yeah.
And it's tough. That's a tough way to kill somebody.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, you don't want to think that exists, but it does.
It just does. And you can't pick them out walking down the street. I've talked many times about interviewing Tommy Lynn Sells out in Texas.
Yeah.
It was good for at least 23 murders. And you wouldn't give him a second. Matter of fact, he almost looked, I don't know, squeamish is not the word, but he certainly didn't look threatening.
Okay.
And you don't, it's not like the movies where you hear some music start playing and something bad's fixing to happen.
Right, yeah.
We just got to be aware. That's the single most important thing is awareness, I believe, Steve.
It's just a horrible tragedy, sinking feeling.
Yes, it is. feel for the family so bad.
Everybody, yeah. You know, and all the local time here. It has also not been a good week. We've had some officers shot at and killed and different things down in Mississippi.
Had a trooper, and it was on. It's probably, I'm thinking, and I think I've been over this road before. It's near Yazoo City, and I think it's a little Tulane County road. And he was performing a traffic stop, and they said a tractor trailer hit him, killed him. Nobody has been charged at this point. I don't know if they're waiting on maybe lab tests to come back. You know, sometimes you can pull like things off of the truck where it hit the body.
We had some officers shot in Delaware.
That's just going on this morning. I just saw that on the news before I came over here this morning, and I think it's going to be some kind of a domestic thing, maybe in an apartment house. They had firemen over there with ladders, and they were handing children out the windows to them. They responded to some kind of call, and they just opened up on them.
We had this other situation in Florida with deputies, and these people were young.
12 and 14.
Female, right? One of them female.
Yeah. Evidently, the main, it sounded like the main bad actor was the female.
And the officer said, we are not accustomed, not prepared to deal with people 12 and 14 that are this violent and have the intention of killing us.
They sat outside that,
and they shot back.
after 45 minutes they did. They tried everything in the world to get those kids out. One officer.
Who wants to shoot a 12-year-old?
Nobody.
Right.
One officer. You know, you got a lot of body cam stuff on the news this morning, and one of the officers is saying, "Don't shoot, please don't shoot. Don't make me do this." He's talking to himself basically. Little girl, she started out with a sawed-off 12-gauge shotgun, and then got an AR-15 or some type of assault rifle. Had that both at one time, and then the young man got the double-barrel sawed-off shotgun. And then they had a handgun in there. They broke in this house.
But they intended to provoke this.
Huh?
Right? I mean, it was intended, right?
I reckon.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing I haven't heard is how the police knew there was a break-in.
Okay.
I don't know if they had a security system there or what, but an officer crawled up there to the house, threw his cell phone in the window and said, "Please answer this phone when we call it. We want to talk to you." And there was just no bringing them out. You know, and finally, they just had to overcome force with force. But they waited 45 minutes or an hour, tried everything they could to get them out. They heard some glass breaking, and they rushed to the house. I think at that point, it's just tragic. And this little girl in this deal, they came from a group home. They escaped from a group home and broke in this house. At some point, she was, you know, there's a video game called GTA, Grand Theft Auto,
Okay, right.
and she quoted some kind of a lyric or a line out of that video game or whatever it is about rolling the police over or something like that. Some crazy something.
Never an easy job, complicated now. It's a complicated relationship dance that we're doing between our communities and our law enforcement. And it continues.
Yes, it is, Steve. Very, very, very tough.
Before we get away, Scott Peterson, new trial here. What's going
You
on?
remember Scott Peterson? To like 2 decades. He's been in jail for like 2 decades. He was found guilty, and and I just watched it again a few weeks back.
Okay.
In my mind, really,
The one with his murdered his wife.
murdered his wife,
Right.
and she was pregnant.
Pregnant, right.
Charged
It's
him with
been
both
2 decades.
both murders.
Wow, okay.
They gave him death penalty, and that got overturned. And there was something about the way the jurors were questioning the penalty phase or something. Excuse me. Now his lawyer, they may ask for a new trial. They're contemplating asking for a new trial. His lawyer says, "We've got new evidence, and we're going to show you who the real killer is." And see, I've said, you heard me say this before, Steve. That trial, and this just me watching it on the TV. You know, I'm not sitting in a jury box.
Armchair detective.
I'm not seeing it all.
Right.
But I thought they did a great job of proving that he was a no-good lying philanderer. I didn't see a murder proved. We've talked about the defense that says, he needed killing.
He needed to.
I don't know, man. It looked to me like I don't know. We'll see. The defense is saying we got new evidence we're going to show it. But, that may just be talk. I don't know.
Well,
It's going to be interesting. It was an interesting case. It really was, yeah.
He's back in the news. What's coming up on the show this Saturday?
Good question. Excellent question. I left.
Gil Kendrick last week, right?
No, Gil didn't. I had to leave town.
All right, yeah.
And
okay.
as you've noticed, I'm sure, when I leave town,
Yeah.
The whole thing just
falls apart.
Yeah, the whole deal.
Yeah, okay.
And so, but anyway, I think I had a replay of my friend Jerry Pretty
Oh, okay.
last weekend,
Okay.
and maybe Gil this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gil Kendrick, former police chief in Brownsville and in Jackson.
Yeah.
And so we'll see.
Really accomplished guy, very smart guy. Former president of Tennessee Chiefs of Police Association.
Good interview coming. That'll be Saturday morning, and that'll be at 9 o'clock right here at 93.1. Jimmy Leach, the investigator. We're at the top of the hour on the way to a conversation with Tom Scuteri from the Pentagon. This is WNWS FM Jackson, WT.